We have to have that one leader that is always willing to make it right. It gets to a point where, Paul, we don't look at who is wrong and who is right. We look at who is willing to make it right.
Okay.
And that is now the point where we know who is the true leader. Okay. We have been in a situation before where we witnessed a lot of chaos here and there, and then it reaches to a point where the president says, I went to look for my brother, and the brother also responded, and they had a sitting, and then they talked. We are not really trying to encourage that we do the handshake. That is not really what we want to witness. But there is a way of making peace without, destroying the opposition. Because we really need the opposition.
Sure.
We need the opposition to be there. We cannot have a government that is without an opposition and be excited about it. That is not something to be even happy about. So if what the government right now actually needs to do, I know we have a president who is very wise, and at the same time, he's a man that God has helped in many ways. He himself, he confessed that he was prayed into victory during the time of campaign and during the time of election. We need to reach out. We need to reach out. You see, that's the way I started when I began. I said equality, inclusivity is everything. The government needs to really focus on what must be done to make every citizen of this country feel included in the affairs of government, in the affairs of making it. Everything that touches on decision, let the government try as much as they can to make sure that everybody feels included, not just a few individuals. Not just a few individuals.
Just one. What will happen from where you see?
Yes.
What will bring the cost of living down after the handshake, in case there is?
Let us be honest, Brother Paul. The cost of living, the way it is right now, there are so many factors that are contributing to this. And we know that we are in a crisis. Even right now, for the last 1 year, for the last 1 year plus, we have been having an issue because of what is happening in some countries, because of the war that is happening somewhere is it in Russia? Some of those things that are happening in those countries, they are affecting our economy. Okay, for example, things to do with something like fuel. That is not our own thing here. We don't have a fuel here. We don't manufacture fuel here.
Yes.
So even if we do the handshake, you see, unless you touch on anything that touches on petroleum, even if you reduce the hunger, even if you reduce the sugar today, from the place of manufacturing to the place of the consumer, you have to use the transport. Actually, most of the time, it is the transportation that most of the time determines the price.
Sure.
Because once the fuel goes high, everything else is going to go high. You see now. So we have an economy that was actually dead. And the process is that we have to revive it.
Correct.
And the process of reviving the economy is not something of waking up one day and you see that everything is now okay. Even in the next maybe 100 days from now, we might be in the middle of the same crisis. But the current regime or the current government has guaranteed us that they want to do something with the production, so that once the production is boosted, then the manufacturer and those who deals with the production, they can now have at least the prices of being lowered. Let me give you an example. For example, I come from a region where I don't know when lastly we witnessed enough rain in that place. Okay, because even the previous rain that we had the season, the rain did not do good everywhere. In some parts, actually, even the crops in the farm, they were left even with no hope. Okay, now are we going to blame the government because the rain didn't do good? That is not something we can blame the government. But there is something that can be done. The government needs to sit down and we cannot deny the fact that things and the days and the times are very tough.
Sure.
You take your 1,000 right now to supermarket, it's just a breakfast.
Yeah.
Not even a supper.
Sure. You're not satisfied.
Yeah, you're not satisfied. You cannot have something that you can say, I'm getting in the house and people are going to have supper and the breakfast with 1,000. And then maybe that 1,000, maybe it's a day, it's a wages maybe of a day, a worker, somebody who works. There are some places who work and they don't even make that 1,000. That means that times and the season are very tough.
Sure.
Times and season are very tough. So the handshake cannot lower the prices
Now, what could be the significance of the talk, and how is it going to lower down the heart of one Raila Odinga, if anything, because there is a call from the church across the country that these people should have a talk. Now, the basis of the talk now, what are they going to talk about, and how is it going to, lower like the temperature of whatever politics or something? How is it going to bring this money to the people? One, is it that it is a trend that Steve, I don't want to use this word, you must come to the government of the day and fit yourself there, no matter the cost of living. You have to be there for your people to accept that things are okay.
We have to look at this the world situation from the lens of being a political issue. That's why I said I'm even confused. I don't know whether we are dealing with an economical situation or we are dealing with a political situation.
Sure.
But let me put it like this: the best gift any government can give to its people, number one, is to create a conducive environment where the citizen can be productive. Okay, you cannot move around. Okay, we are very grateful of the whole initiative of Hustler Fund, which to me is not really that effective in terms of what it should do. Because we sometimes back I had somebody say to me, nimejaribu kudala nimeona nimepatiwa 500 and that is my limit, so what can I do with the 500 anyway? I don't want to talk about that one, but I have a point I want to drive out here. If there will be any kind of conversation or we are going to have any kind of a talk, this talk, I think we should have the opposition leader come on the table and maybe sit down with the government, or maybe have the government sit with the opposition and look at the issues that we can agree, because there are issues that the oppositions are raising that are very valid, that cannot be ignored. Okay. For example, when you talk about the cost of living, that's a reality.
Sure.
Everybody knows that in this country right now, the cost of living is very high. Okay. So what if we sit down and we look at the issues that we agree? And since the people that voted for me are the same people that you are governing, okay?
Correct.
So why can't we just focus on those issues and find a way of bringing the solution concerning those matters? Because any conversation that is going to happen, and that conversation is not happening around the issues that the opposition maybe feels like these issues needs to be addressed. If that conversation is not centralized on issues, then that conversation will never yield any fruits. It will never lead into any solution. Okay. Now, the government on the other side, the only way to stabilize the economy, you must have a conducive environment for production to happen.
Sure.
Because if the people are not, working within a conducive environment, a peaceful environment, then how do you expect to improve the economy? Okay.
Sure.
So actually, the whole thing, and the only reason maybe that can push the government to initiate maybe a dialogue, is because the government is responsible, if not for anything else, to create a conducive environment for each citizen to be productive.
Sure.
Anybody that wakes up in the morning and they are going to ask outside there, they need to be on the road and there are no tiles, maybe the ambazo zinachomwa kwa barabara. You are opening a kibanda somewhere there, umeweka mboga yako, you need to be there and there are no stones that are being thrown in that place. That kind of environment, it is not the responsibility of anybody else. It is the responsibility of the government to make sure that they create that kind of environment. And that's why now the dialogue is very important. The dialogue and the conversation must not always lead into, let's do the handshake, we bring you on board, and then you become part of us. Because if that is what actually